Before we get into this, let me clearly explain why contingent things can't infinitely loop and need an eternal being. Contingent things are physical things, and they all point to something else as the reason it exists. Like a microphone would point to a human or a machine for its existence. It did just come out of nowhere. But if everything physical is contingent, then there has to be something non-contingent that explains why everything exists. If everything was explained by contingent things, it would be an infinite loop of A exists because of B, and B exists because of C, and it would go on forever. Think of it like an infinite link of chains in the air, each link supported by another link, but there's no hook or ceiling. The chain would still fall because no link had the power to hold itself up, right? All right, now let's get into the introduction. Everything that exists can be placed into one of two categories. Number one, contingent things. Contingent things are things that exist but did not have to exist, like we said. They could have been different or not existed at all. Examples of that would include humans, planets, atoms, the universe itself. In fact, everything physical we experience is contingent. Each contingent thing depends on something else for its existence. For example, a microphone depends on raw materials, factories, machines, and peoples, and none of these things explain themselves as they themselves are also contingent, like we said. And the second category something could fall into is a necessary thing. A necessary thing is something that must exist and cannot fail to exist. Its existence does not depend on anything else. It exists by its own nature. For example, 2 + 2 = 4 would be a necessary thing. All right, let's get into the principle of sufficient reason. Philosophy often appeals to the principle of sufficient reason, which says if something exists, there must be an explanation or reason for why it exists rather than not exist. This does not mean we always know the explanation, but only that one exists. All right, now explaining contingent reality as a whole. Consider all contingent things together, the entire universe, everything physical, every cause and effect chain. Even if the universe had no beginning, it would still be contingent because it could have been different and it did not have to exist at all. So now we ask a crucial question. What explains the existence of all contingent reality? The explanation cannot itself be contingent because then it would simply be a part of what needs explaining, right? And appealing to an infinite chain of contingent explanations does not solve the problem, it only postpones it. Even an infinite chain still wouldn't explain why the whole chain exists at all. The need for a necessary being is pretty much the explanation for contingent reality. So the explanation for contingent reality must be something that is not contingent itself, exists by its own nature, does not depend on anything else, and is not part of the physical universe because the whole physical universe itself is also contingent. So this leads to the conclusion that there must exist a necessary being that explains why contingent things exist. At this point, the necessary being, I mean, it's already kind of